online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special after show for NXT. We're doing the special Our Evolution. I'm Kathy Kelly. Joining me, as always, True Hobo, sitting across from me.
Of Pro Wrestling Tees commercial fame.
Oh,
the
yes.
very first one.
You
Very
are
nice.
famous now.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Did you get a payday from it?
I got some free shirts out of it.
Oh, okay. And then sitting next to Hobo, we're missing Mark Donica this week, but hopefully you'll like his replacement, Shaun Ricker.
I do what I can. I'm a heck of a replacement. Maybe I've got a new spot here. Who knows?
Yeah,
You never
definitely.
know.
If you are a wrestling fan, then you may recognize him from NXT. And thank you so much for coming in.
I do what I can. You know, I actually haven't seen NXT in a while. This is the first time I watched it in
Really?
a while, and it was one hell of a show, I gotta say.
Are you liking what they're doing now?
Well, yeah, I mean, when you look at that and you look at what's going on Raw, SmackDown, everything, I think there's a big difference as far as the way that they approach the shows, the way that they do it, especially in the Divas matches.
Yeah.
The Divas matches in NXT.
Oh my gosh.
And I have to credit that to Sarah Amato, who's training the Divas down there, because before that, it was just look good and do whatever. But now these girls are getting in there and they're getting it good. And I can't say enough about it.
One of the best stories told tonight was by Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair. Just absolutely one of the best.
I mean, we'll talk about it later, but some of the tweets that I was getting too perfectly described what was going on. They're like, best women's match that I've ever seen. No, better than most Raw matches in general that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So,
Like this was a main event match on any show. It could have main evented.
Yeah.
But we were lucky to see it tonight, and it was perfectly placed right in the middle.
Well, that's the main thing, not to sound sexist or whatever, but they used to train the girls like girls, but now they're training the girls more like the guys. Everybody's kind of training almost the same, and the same trainers are kind of rotating, if you will, with different talents all the time. So the guys who are training the guys are now also training the girls, and then Sarah will also sometimes train the guys, and Sarah's got an awesome mind just to put things together and different moves and escapes for things like that. So I would dare say she's one of the best, if not the best trainer down there. So the girls are in awesome hands.
that's good to hear.
I mean, it shows. It 100% shows all the work that they're doing. And women's matches have been bathroom breaks in the past.
Yeah.
Not tonight.
I mean-
Popcorn match, yeah.
Yeah.
That's just going to happen when the people that you're hiring are models, essentially. Like that's been the structure for the past several years. But now, you do find that diamond in the rough occasionally. Girls that were former models but also are very athletic. But then you have these girls like Charlotte, who was, I mean, they say it on the show, it's in her genes.
Brought up in the business.
Yeah. So obviously, girls like her are going to do a better job.
Oh, absolutely. But again, it's also a lot of the approach, because you can still they're still taking a lot of the models in and whatnot, and some of them get weeded out. There's one girl who was there about a year ago, and she was just in the middle of a roll drill, and she just had enough. And she'd been
In
signed.
the middle of a drill?
Yeah, she said, you know what? She said, call Kang in, tell him to cancel my contract. I'm done. And she was out.
Yeah.
And it's a lot for people to take mentally, physically. You're talking about people being in there, guys, girls, everybody, 5 days a week, sometimes 6 days a week. Throw on top of that shows. It is a grueling schedule. But I tell you, those people are machines, guys, girls, everybody. It's incredible. And I'm a machine, I gotta tell you.
It really is. It really is.
You do have to have that passion there, or else
Yes.
you're not going to keep with it or succeed. succeed.
Absolutely not. You will be sitting at home where now I am somehow sitting here watching. But, my thing was go in there, bust my butt. I've never been a good politician. If I was, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. And I have a habit of talking a little too much. So to me, it's just like everybody down there is putting everything in like you can't believe and going through the motions, and it's showing in this show when you watch it.
Definitely. Let's talk about how tonight started off. Everyone was anxiously awaiting the debut of Kevin Owens, and we finally got it tonight. Bloody debut.
If you're gonna debut, make it memorable, you know? A little color will do that.
I'm really confused as to what happened because I just saw a tweet from CJ Parker, and he has, the nastiest, like a deep, like needs stitches
he got
cut.
Stabbed in the hand.
So I'm thinking.
Well, Kevin got stitches too, right?
Well, see, I was thinking that he busted Kevin's nose, and he may have on the way up. But what I'm thinking from that cut. Sorry about the microphone.
You're gonna bust the mic.
I'm thinking from that cut, he might have hit him right in the tooth. Because what else would he have cut?
He may have got him with the nose a little higher, but then right with the palm in the teeth.
What else would he have cut his hand so deep on?
Yeah.
Yikes.
It was nasty.
I don't even know if I saw it happen. Like, I remember just
it was the
blood
third
gushing.
eye out of the corner. Owens is in it. Bam! Out of nowhere. But wow.
Who predicted this? Was it you or Mark who said CJ last week was going to be Kevin's opponent?
It's CJ's,
you could take credit for it if you want.
CJ's place.
Yeah.
It's just something you can't argue. He's the upper echelon guy. If a new talent's coming in, you're going to face CJ Parker. That's just how things work.
Yeah.
And tonight, CJ faced Owens for the first time, and Owens got the better of him.
Mm-hmm. No one really thought that CJ would win. I don't even think on commentary.
Well, to me, it's kind of become a common theme now where CJ's just getting fed to like the guys who are just coming in and just blasting him down. It's like, oh man.
You look at Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin, first opponent, CJ Parker. Done.
I would like to see CJ in an actual feud again, though.
It would be nice. It would be nice. I like him. I've always liked him. I think he's got something. He's got a hold of something, but he can't seem to turn it into anything. You can have a piece of gold in your hand, but if you don't turn it into cash, then what's the point?
Yeah.
It's just a rock.
I'm glad that this wasn't a squash. We were kind of worried just because of how they've been debuting everyone lately that this would be, a 1-minute match.
Oh, yeah, when I was watching it and Owens. Owen? Is it Owen or Owens?
Owen.
With an S.
It's plural. Okay,
Yeah.
There's more than
Multiple
one Owen.
Owens.
Okay, so when Owens starts smashing him in the corner with the clotheslines, whatever, I was like, all right, well, this is great. Now CJ's just getting squashed out immediately. And then I was feeling real bad for him. Then I'm like, okay, now he's getting some offense. That's good.
Just a little bit.
But we knew where it was going.
And that dive from Owens over the top rope to CJ on the outside.
Speaking of dives,
Good God.
could there have been more dives tonight?
Almost every match of the night had a dive.
Every match.
Yeah.
There's one
Even the girls.
And the girls.
And I think in the main event had 2 dives, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, it did.
And there's one thing that when I was down there, I remember hearing over and over again, watch the match before you. And every match was dive.
Yes, but it looks so impressive. I think that's just one of the coolest things to watch.
It becomes repetitive. That's one of the basic rules in television wrestling. We hear it in championship wrestling from Hollywood all the time.
Bingo.
To watch the match before you, don't do what they do. That's it.
If I could do a dive, I would do it every single day.
And that's great if everybody else doesn't do it. The problem is the first one that you see, it's like, oh wow, that's crazy, and then they get the holy whatever chant. But then by the time you get to the last one, it's like, yeah, they'll get up for it. But if that was the first time it happened in the whole show, it would have been a much bigger reaction.
Right. Owens had the biggest reaction to his dive for 2 reasons. One, it was the first of the night. Second, he was the biggest guy doing it.
Yeah, people who
don't do it after him.
People who hadn't seen him before didn't know that he was capable of doing something like that, getting that much air.
He was capable of doing it in his debut. I don't think he needed to. But
he didn't need to.
No offense to the guy, but he looks like he's been sitting on the couch eating Doritos, so I wouldn't expect him to go flying over the top rope on to somebody. So I can say that is impressive.
And he's got that everyman vibe. A lot of people who watch wrestling sit on the couch and eat chips, but not a whole lot are going to get off of that couch and get in that ring and smash some skull.
Yeah. I definitely think it was an impressive debut.
Certainly.
I mean, after the match, or him then just annihilating CJ Parker's
pop-up powerbomb.
Yeah.
Really,
no, I was talking about
the head on the knee. The move just before that, right?
I'm not talking about any of that. I'm not even talking about a move. I was taking his CJ Parker's sign and just destroying it. But all of those things were really cool too.
Yes. He's impressive.
I found myself laughing for a second because he went to go kick the one piece and the ref yanked it out right before. I'm like
Lucy with a football.
Yeah. So next up we had the Lucha Dragons versus the Vaudevillains. I forgot to mention, which we probably should talk about, Graves on commentary. Yes. I mean, I'm definitely happy for him. I
sort of predicted this. You know, he's a guy who can talk. And he can't see in-ring competition any longer, so this is a perfect place for him.
Yeah.
I'm going to break the fourth wall. This has been on for a while, actually. He got his last concussion, I want to say back in maybe late spring. And so he's been on the shelf ever since. They told him his career was done and over. And so they've been kind of transitioning him into this role where he can still pursue his dream because he's very well liked. Yeah. You know, he's a good worker as far as both physically and verbally, but now they're taking that part away from him. So it's like, okay, well, let's use this guy. He's got a look. He can talk. Let's use him where we can.
I mean, we had heard that before about the concussions and everything else, him not being able to get in the ring with WWE, but I wasn't aware that they had been transitioning him. Had you heard that?
A little bit from the mole.
Yeah, I think they've been keeping it kind of quiet because I guess there's not really, because let's say it fails and it doesn't happen or it just doesn't work out, or he's not the right flavor, they don't want to put that out there. So
you upset a lot of people that way.
Yeah, it's kind of like, let's feel this out, let's see how it goes, and obviously it went well, so now they're going to go with it.
We did kind of question why he hadn't been released if they had, deemed him not being medically cleared.
This has happened with a couple guys where like they'll try and transition them, and for one reason or another it doesn't work, so they end up releasing them. But this isn't the first time this has happened, but now this is the first time where they've actually been like, okay, this is a fit, let's go with it.
I do really like him. I think he has a lot of great input.
I mean, with the ring experience that he has, he's a perfect color man.
And he's also able to talk about these guys in a different sense. As like Renee, yes, she interviews them backstage, but he has wrestled with a lot of these people.
He's wrestled with them, he's traveled with them, he's lived with some of the guys, he spends all kinds of time in the locker room, so he gets a different insight than anybody who's just simply doing interviews or whatever. So it's a totally different dynamic.
We have talked about this in the past though as well. Renee, what she brings to the table is, obviously she's intelligent and knows how to be a commentator on the show, but
and kind of hot.
She is. That too.
Argue that
point. But you also are able to differentiate the voices, which I think helps a lot. And tonight, for whatever reason, with those three guys, I wasn't able to as well.
They were like a three-headed man.
Yeah.
Those three mouths are talking, they all kind of sound the same.
Yeah.
It's difficult. You got to find your voice and your own thing that makes you a little bit unique. And I think it's going to take Graves a little while to get that thing. That thing that makes him different from every other commentator.
But you know what? Speaking of hot women, there's one sitting across the table from me, and why am I so far away from her? I'm sitting over here with this guy. I should be over there.
No, I'm with you,
He's a hot woman.
I'm just saying.
What?
You have the long hair.
I got the long flowing locks. Yep. Yeah.
And you're glowing.
Put your fingers through them.
You're literally lighting up the room.
Literally.
Those are beautiful eyes.
So after, or I guess let's talk about the Lucha Dragons versus Vaudevillains match. I mean, this, not predictable for me. I thought that the Vaudevillains would take it, but what'd you guys think?
For a second there, it looks like they were going to. I really thought for just a moment, oh, wait, this is it, right here.
Personally, I know and love everybody in that match. I have nothing against them, but God, I'm glad the Vaudevillains didn't win.
Really? Why is that?
I've never... I call me kooky. I've never gotten it. Are they in a time warp? Is it 1920? I don't. That's my thing.
Yeah.
I just don't follow it. We always heard don't be hokey, and they've gotten better at not being as hokey. I've noticed, and I haven't seen them in months. It's the first time I've seen them in a long time. They're a little less hokey, but God. Oh, I don't follow it.
Okay.
That's me.
That's fine. Honestly, I like a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
But personally, I great people, all four of them. Just that character, don't get it.
Okay.
That's me.
I mean, the guys are over, and I don't think they needed championship belts to really enhance them in any way, so I'm not surprised the Lucha Dragons retained.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they were chanting for Gotch in there, so I mean, I guess you can't argue with that, but that NXT audience is a different audience from anywhere else you go.
It's a little bit of love-hate at this table with that audience. Some nights we love them, some nights we just want them all to eat a big bag of popcorn and shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been there.
I kind of miss Adrian Neville singing.
Aiden English is singing.
God, what is wrong with me tonight?
Similar names.
Okay, so the past 2 days, I will explain myself. I have gotten up at 3 a.m, and I have had zero sleep for nominations of the SAG Awards and Golden Globes.
You know, I did.
What?
I did something like that. One of my first nights, they had me go out and host one of the live events in Tampa. Yeah. And they were like, just go out there and plug like the Divas match and plug the main event. And the main event was Adrian Neville and I can't remember who else it was. I think it was Bo Dallas, actually. And so I went out there and I was like, and tonight you'll see your NXT champion, Bo Dallas, facing Aaron Neville.
I made that mistake before.
Adrian Neville's brother is lesser known.
He's going to come out and sing a song.
New Orleans famous musician.
Now, if you'd said Aaron Neville, then the singing would have made sense.
Right.
Yeah. So, Aiden English, I miss him singing. Moral of the story.
Yeah, I do too. It's sort of what made him unique. Now, Gotch's got his thing. He's the strong man, circus style strong man.
Yeah.
And English is supposed to be sort of an actor, fitness guy, but you don't get the actor anymore because he's not doing the singing part.
So I know your thoughts, but could you see either tag team on the main roster?
No. I mean, yes. I mean, easily you could see the Lucha Dragons because they've had similar acts like that before.
Yeah.
But the Vaudevillains are such a unique thing. I wonder if they'd fall into the same sort of pitfalls that most NXT talent have debuting on the main roster.
Well, it's kind of a goofy thing, and you look at what Adam Rose. I don't know how Bo's been doing recently, Bo Dallas.
He's injured, so
like it's
injured
like
his foot.
It's like they're both kind of silly gimmicks. They went and it just kind of didn't quite pan out how they wanted. So I would kind of put them in the same boat, I think, unless there's some corner they need to turn. But the Lucha Dragons, I would definitely say, because obviously Sin Cara's already been there.
Right.
Kalisto's kind of like almost that Rey Mysterio replacement. I mean, he's bouncing around like a young Rey Mysterio used to all over the place. So I could see that.
I have to say another thing that I completely forgot. I've been space casing all night, but we are doing, for the first time ever tonight, we are doing a live stream on YouTube. So if you're watching us live on AfterBuzzTV.com, check out our YouTube page, youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. You can find our live stream of our NXT show, and there is another chat roll going on over there. So definitely check it out because it's the inaugural celebration of that.
First ones, baby.
We are the first ones.
Out the gate.
We're going to crash the internet.
Break the internet.
Or break the internet.
Hashtag break the internet.
Yeah. I'm going to pull my butt out. We're going to do this right now. Come on.
Are you oiled up, though?
Yeah, I'm not going to do
No,
that.
I don't have any oil. I got some water. That's fine.
I forgot my oil tonight.
So back to NXT tonight. Ty Dillinger versus Baron Corbin. I mean, Baron I don't even know, the crowd so behind him.
Hard to believe.
Why?
I don't know. It's just.
What?
I know. It's just he's not been around that long. And usually, look at Mojo Rally. Mojo Rally is the exact same way. Mojo came out and did this exact same thing, and the crowd took him and just tore him in half.
Because it's different.
But it's not. It confounds me. It does sometimes. Like, I understand, but at the same time, I don't understand.
For whatever reason, I just find it so much more believable. And I think that that's why it's working.
Well, it's less silly. I mean, they're definitely giving him kind of the Goldberg thing in a sense, where he just comes out and does his thing. And it's a different dynamic when people are counting the seconds in your match. I found it funny when you said it's hard to believe, just because I know backstage, whatever. But I've just been there, and so when you said hard to believe, I'm like, well.
Hey, love that.
He's a wonderful man. I'm just kidding. He's a wonderful person.
So Bull Dempsey is actually watching during this match. Baron ends up winning with the end of days. Not as quick as usual, but still.
45 count, I think the crowd was
under
up
a
to
minute.
about there.
Under a minute.
Yeah. And, yeah.
Yeah.
The story of the match was really the altercation afterwards, or lack thereof. Bull Dempsey on the outside, Baron Corbin, they meet face to face. One waiting for the other to pull the trigger, neither deciding to do so at this juncture. Both to part ways and meet again, hopefully in the future.
Very passive aggressive.
I wouldn't say passive aggressive. I mean, it was aggressive. It was physically aggressive. Passive aggressive is something different. In wrestling, it's aggressive.
Okay.
Well, it was somewhat passive, since they were just kind of like, yeah.
Yeah.
Passing.
The other guy just. We'll call it
Passing aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yes.
That works.
We're on the same wavelength. I knew it.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So, I mean, I wanted this matchup to happen tonight.
I thought it might, but maybe it was too soon.
You're like, no.
Payoffs waiting.
What? Bull and
And Corbin,
Yeah.
they've been sort of building a little something, stoking some flames, some fire.
Well, he just got out of a match. You can't have another match right there.
We thought tonight would be the two of them.
Yeah.
Never. Okay.
Oh, see, I thought you meant that he's going to go right from one match to another, like
It's not like they haven't done that before,
Yokozuna,
but
Bret Hart, Hogan style or something.
I mean, I just thought that they were going to face off tonight, or at the very least, we would have gotten
They're saving that for
something
Mania.
physical.
That's going to Mania.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
mania
yeah.
of NXT specials.
Yeah. The Takeover Mania. That's what they're going to call it.
Takeover Mania.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Why not? It'll be in March. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it can last that long.
Can we talk about the name? I don't.
What? Which name?
Our Evolution?
Our Evolution.
Does anybody know where that's coming from?
Do you?
No.
Oh.
I got nothing.
They just come up with names.
I know.
I came up with a really great name for another one. Creation. Because evolution versus but it's creative because
All right, I gotta
it's
leave now.
It's so bad that it would be
Lost him with that
used.
one.
But okay, so you got Revolution.
Yes.
I get it. You got Evolution. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Our Evolution?
What's the R stand for?
R, like it's the NXT's
But
evolution.
it's the letter R.
I know.
This takeover brought to you by the letter R. We going Sesame Street style?
It's like
Are you using R like
our-
but R is an hour.
I know, but like it's like when someone's texting and they're like, "See you," the letter U soon, or
Yeah, but
"Are we there yet?"
Well, yes, but that would mean are we there yet, not our house. You wouldn't put our house. That wouldn't make
Yes,
sense.
it's R. R is R. Hour is.
We should critique this for the next 45 minutes of our
Okay,
after show.
well, a very long diatribe into the English language.
I was just perplexed.
It's a little, yeah.
We get a very quick segment with Sami Zayn talking about his matchup later tonight. And then we go to the Ascension versus Hideo Itami and Finn Balor. I mean, I think it was you or Mark last week who said the surprise we were going to get was Finn's makeup.
We know what's coming.
Yeah.
You can't. It's one of the things that made him
makeup paint.
truly a thing to see on the independent circuit was his use of paint and being larger than life, much in the same way of the Ultimate Warrior, but like bigger. And that's what we saw tonight was some implementation of that larger than life figure.
Yeah.
Didn't he used to use like the light activated paint where like if you saw him in regular light, there was nothing, but then when you saw like black light, it was
that's cool.
It would show up.
I think he did that at one point. Yeah.
Because that's what I was expecting. I was almost thinking like when they raise the lights, he's gonna have nothing, and that would be awesome. But then he had the whole thing on. But either way, it was awesome because who's painting that? Like I've seen the makeup girls backstage, but does he have a separate?
We got a tweet. We got the name of the girl that does it.
Really?
Yeah.
We did, but
I don't remember
who's
what it
to
was.
say it's her?
Well, whoever's doing it is awesome.
Yeah, no, that's incredible.
Props to them.
Yeah.
The Ascension dominate most of the match. I mean, we were talking about all the diving tonight, but Balor and Itami end up winning with a double diving foot stomp. And predictable? Yes? No?
To a degree.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was sort of inevitable, to say the least, but there was some tension in the middle there. You weren't sure that Itami and Balor were going to be able to pull it out. And Ascension were going for a lot of covers. A lot of covers. They wanted to really get this, and you felt that. They weren't taking their time. They weren't doing their usual thing of toying with their opponent like a large cat with a mouse. No, this was they wanted this. I looked at it very much as the Ascension is the establishment. And Itami and Balor are coming in with all of this expectation behind them, and people are putting them above the Ascension, and the Ascension actually has to work to make up ground.
Yeah.
So they wanted this win. They really did, and I felt it.
Where does the Ascension go from here?
To the main roster.
Well, they have been working toward that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they are bringing these guys in with fanfare. Now they just go over in the Ascension. I mean, the only thing you can do is maybe go back to a rematch. Something's got to go down crazy. But I mean, I would see why wouldn't Balor and Itami be going for championship gold at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're that strong, if you knock out the former champions in such ceremonious fashion, like old Yeller with a shotgun, then why not go for gold?
Mm-hmm.
Get it?
I mean, could you see Hideo and Finn going after the Lucha Dragons, though? It doesn't really make sense to me.
Personally, I think they're better as singles competitors.
Yeah.
But that's just me. They don't necessarily mesh, you know? Mm-hmm. They're kind of two guys with similar styles, but completely different characteristics.
Yeah.
Well, that just makes you wonder then, are they going to keep them together or split them? Like, is this a new tag team or...
That's the question.
They don't have a name.
Yeah.
So I personally would rather see them separately. It's weird with so many debuts in such a short amount of time. I feel like they almost overshadow one another.
Yeah. I mean, literally one debuted and a few weeks later the other debuted because the other one brought the one and Tommy brought Balor. So they completely overlap. It was almost like a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's so many guys ready to go that are just on hold right now. Mm-hmm. And so it's just like you got to start squeezing them out at some point, you know? And I guess now they've just been finding the openings recently, but now you got guys who are coming in brand new and they're getting kind of put to the front of the line. So now you got the other guys that you need to squeeze through. Plus, you're getting these guys through, and it's just like so many coming at once. But
I mean, I wasn't just talking about Hideo and Finn, but also with Kevin Owens debuting now. You're debuting so many people. Your roster down at NXT, I mean, it's already huge.
Right, the guys who've been down there the longest aren't really getting an opportunity to get on TV. The one thing they've been waiting in line for, these guys who are coming in, are getting the hot shot to the top. And it's a difficult situation.
Yeah. We had talked about Solomon and Crow debuting for a while, and that never happened.
He was in the ring tonight, but for Sami Zayn's.
Yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, he's been injured.
Maybe I didn't see it right, but it almost looked like he had some sort of a injury or something. It was like his face just looked maybe like messed up
I
or something.
believe he was injured a couple months ago.
What it was, but he was hospitalized. I think he had to have surgery for it.
Yeah.
Can I ask you about the tag team division down in NXT?
Let's do it.
You see, recently we saw a whole flush of tag teams coming through when the Ascension lost their, or when they just brought a whole bunch of new tag teams in.
Yeah.
When was that?
It had to have been maybe the last 2 months, 3 months, because we were talking about how it was really the Ascension,
Right.
and that was it.
And then so many have fallen to the wayside. What does it take to be a tag team in NXT and make it a consistent thing?
I think a lot of guys are trying to stand out on their own, and then they kind of just end up falling together, or some guys just kind of feel more comfortable having somebody else there. But it's just a matter of, do you have the chemistry? Do you have the look? Does everything kind of fall in place together? But it seemed like they get in these themes that go on and on. So, like, for a while, like you said, there were no tag teams. It was just the Ascension, and just here and there you might see something, but it was mostly them just killing local guys. And you're just like, well, when are they going to, really wrestle a real team? Well, then all of a sudden, NXT just started cranking out. Oh, they were like, we need tag teams, we need tag teams, we need tag teams. And so now there was an influx of tag teams as opposed to maybe just slowly, here, let me give you one now. I'll give you another here, maybe a few months later. And it was just like, we're going to give you 10 tag teams all at once.
That's certainly how it seemed.
I think as a talent, if you see that void on the roster when there aren't any tag teams, you think to yourself like, oh, well, I'm not really getting a lot of matches right now on my own, so can I pitch this to creative?
Certainly.
Being in a tag team, it makes sense.
Absolutely.
And then if, 10 guys pitch that and you have 5 new tag teams.
Somebody's got to filter that and be like, all right, we've got enough.
Yeah.
Let's back it off a little bit.
But it could be they put several tag teams together potentially to see which ones stick and which ones don't. It's just like trying someone on commentary to see what sticks and what doesn't.
I used to give Wesley Blake a lot of crap because I told him that he's going to get Buddy Murphy fired because they teamed him up with 2 different people before him and they both got fired.
Oh, no.
I'm like, you're putting Buddy Murphy on the firing block right now.
Oh, my gosh.
So far they've done okay. But back to Baylor's entrance, or Balor, I'm sorry. I always want to call him Baylor. It was very Stardust-ish to me. It had that kind of mystique. He's like crawling and all that stuff. I could almost see him in some weird way, like with them, even though obviously he's not family. But it just had that feeling to me. You got the paint, the mysterious music, the smoke. He's doing like the weird kind of maybe semi-erotic crawl to the ring.
I would have said demonic, but erotic works, I guess.
Both. There has been, I feel like, a mixed reaction to his entrance. So what do you guys think?
Very theatric.
I like theatrics. That's just me.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that. Although it started feeling more like a dance routine after a minute than a wrestling entrance.
I think it went over with the headpiece and the arm extension tentacle, whatever. I think that's where it started to feel a little strange.
The part to me was where he got down the ramp and then he like stood up and I think he turned and I was like, it's like Dancing with the Stars all of a sudden. Like, what am I watching?
Fair enough.
Somebody may have choreographed it for him. Who knows?
So, I guess back to their match. Anything that you guys, or that stood out for you guys during this?
I mean, Ascension driver's seat, good chunk of this. Slowing down the pace. I mean, the fans have been sort of for them, but not tonight. They were firmly for Tommy and Balor.
Yeah.
I thought Connor almost looked too frightened during the entrance for Balor. Like, he was out there like.
I don't miss that.
Yeah, no, he and Victor were out there just watching. And he's like, and I'm like, oh man, like he's really putting this off that he's frightened, and hell, maybe he was. It was a crazy, ridiculous entrance. I might have been a little scared looking at that, but to me it was like, are you with them being so menacing and so intimidating, and they were always the guys coming out with the elaborate entrance and doing this and that.
I missed their elaborate entrance.
I almost felt like he was putting it over a little too much, in the sense that he was kind of denoting himself.
Yeah, they have seemed less intimidating as of late, and I don't think that it's just because they've lost several matches, but also when you have that sort of team. And then they start talking, or, not saying that they're bad at talking, but they were so mysterious and they just won all the time. And now, I don't know.
I think less is more, in a sense, where if you're going to have those guys talk, it should, let that, like The Undertaker, for instance, for the longest time, he never talked. It was Ted DiBiase would talk for him, Brother Love would talk for him, Paul Bearer would talk for him. Eventually, a couple words would come out, rest in peace, and then eventually it got more and more, but it took years before they started talking more. And I know he's not like these guys aren't like an Undertaker-type figure, but if you look at their elaborate entrance, it almost kind of was.
Yeah.
Now they just seem like dudes.
Yeah.
They're talking, they're acting like men. They're not the larger-than-life creatures that they once were. They're just a couple of dudes.
And they still sometimes can give off that vibe, but there was something about the look that he was given during that entrance that I was just like, man, your whole intimidation factor, your whole mystique, it just seems like you're letting it slip away a little bit.
And maybe that's why they lost. Head games are a big part of this business. You get into somebody's headspace and they just can't perform the way they should.
Yeah.
And you lose a match that way.
Yeah. Backstage, we have Renee Young interviewing Roman Reigns. He, of course, on Raw was voted Superstar of the Year, got a Slammy Award, and he wants to talk about the future.
The future is now, so sure, go ahead.
There's something about the way he was talking that was, if you notice, every line that he says, he'll look here, and then he'll like squeeze his face and say something and stop and squeeze his face and say something. And so it felt very weird.
He does that. He's not so hot. We saw him at the panel, the 2K15 panel, and that's just how he talks.
I think that he's improved so much on the mic from where he was. Tonight it did seem a little bit robotic, where it's like, I would like to talk about the future.
Yeah. Great looking guy, big guy, athletic as hell.
He looks like the face of WWE.
But just take a little time away from the microphone for now. Let that develop and
less is more.
Ease in. Bingo.
Yep.
I do like him. Tonight was a little bit off, but it was also good to see him down there.
He's been away. He's been recouping, and this is the first time I've seen him back in a little while.
Yeah. I thought he was great on Raw when he came back to accept his Slammy.
Yeah.
I missed that.
I did too, but don't tell anybody.
Just agree with me. Agree with everything I say.
Yes.
It works for me. So we get a glimpse of Ric Flair backstage before Charlotte and Sasha's match. This match, though, freaking incredible.
Match of the night for me.
Yeah.
Before we get into the match, I just have to say, Sasha, if you're watching, you probably aren't. I love you. The braids aren't working for me. I thought she looked so good.
Ratchet?
Huh? Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. Yeah. And there's something about. Again, Sasha, I love you. The makeup is not helping her. She looks washed out for some reason. Do you notice that? Like, she looks almost.
I'm not the only one who's been saying this.
Like her body has a good like mocha bronze to it.
Yeah.
And then the face is almost like white, like ghost white. And it's like, just use a little darker shade. Like, you're a pretty girl, and you're making yourself less attractive. Unless it's on purpose, but I'm almost certain it's not.
I mean, people work hard to tan and get darker, and she's already got this nice dark base to her. Just play it up a little.
It might not be her. It might be the makeup people.
True.
For the specials.
True. But those are great makeup people. I don't want to put them down. They did my makeup once or twice. Just
I think she still looks great.
Actually, they did my makeup for the Triple H workout DVD. It just came out like last week.
They actually had makeup on for that.
Yeah.
Doing the workout.
What kind of makeup? Foundation, powder?
I mean, whatever normal TV little stuff and blotting me down and whatnot. And then, we're out here doing all these stuff, sweating our asses off. And they got to come over.
You take a towel and it's like orange.
Yeah, they got to keep coming over and dabbing us because now we got all this, it's running down and everything. It was ridiculous. But they were awesome. They were really good. They told me to embrace the curl. I have naturally curly hair. You got to see it. It's a little too short now, but I'll show you sometime.
Great. Looking forward to it. Can we talk about the match though?
Sure, let's go.
Because it was really good. What were some of the highlights for you guys?
I love the dueling shirts right off the bat.
Yeah.
That was just a nice little touch. I don't know if you can buy both of those.
Yeah, I was just going to say, are they selling both? Because that's a great marketing ploy.
Because both were going for Sasha and Charlotte.
Or you could just buy Charlotte's and then make it a Sasha if you wanted.
Now that's wretched.
That's no fun.
That's how she did it.
I thought it looked professional. That looked like a real shirt to me. I think if they're really using their heads, you let them buy both and reap in all the money.
Yeah.
Okay, that works.
I think that's the way. Because then, just like they were chanting, one side's chanting for Sasha, the other side's chanting for
Charlotte.
I wanted to call her Flair, so Charlotte, which she is Flair.
Call her Aaron.
Aaron?
Aaron Neville.
Aaron Neville. Yeah. I was like, what? Well, yeah, but that would be perfect. You got half the sides wearing the boss shirt, the other side's wearing the Flair shirt. That marketing,
just smart. That's
marketing
business,
genius
baby.
right there. Vince, if you need somebody to help you sell shirts, I got you. Speed down. Come on, Daddy.
So getting back to this match, I mean, it was incredible. Charlotte retained, and
she had to work for it.
Yeah.
Boy, did she have to work for it.
Yeah.
Sasha was the opponent tonight. No Becky Lynch. But it was a one little surprise for me. I'm like, Becky Lynch may be making an appearance just because she's been so involved in this feud up to now. But no, Sasha felt she could go it alone, and obviously wasn't all that she thought she was.
Yeah. I think there was a segment on the pre-show where Renee was interviewing Sasha, and Bayley came in backstage, and then Becky hit her knee, and they talked about how Bayley doesn't have any torn ligaments or anything because the WWE doctors looked at her and she was fine. So I think they're going to continue that storyline.
Got a little feud in there, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know. But who do you think Charlotte goes up against next?
Hell if I know, she's beat everybody.
Yeah.
Who's left at this point?
Exactly. I mean, we didn't even talk about this, but she was on Raw on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of people not so happy. Charlotte lost to
It's
Natalya.
bittersweet
Leader.
almost, because we had been wanting her to go to the main roster or get some FaceTime on Raw, and she did, but it was a 2-minute match and she lost.
Didn't they also give her like a whole big talk up beforehand? And like from what I didn't see it, but what I understood, there was like a video package or something.
Yeah.
And then so that would make you think, okay, she's gonna have a good strong debut, which you could still lose and have a strong debut, but on a TV match and lose and have a strong debut,
In
that's
2.5 minutes.
Exactly, that's tough to do.
Yeah. I did really think it was cool that they allowed her to walk out there with her NXT women's belt.
That's good publicity for the belt, but if she lost to Natalya, doesn't that make Natalya the #1 contender? That's just my brain.
Well, yeah, and she's been spending more time on NXT than on Raw.
Exactly. So maybe Natalya?
Again?
Maybe.
Which match do you think was better, Charlotte versus Natty last time, or Charlotte versus Sasha tonight.
That's unfair because just seeing this one tonight, I would say this one, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
They were different matches, you know. They were different
They were.
kinds of matches.
Yeah.
This was. This felt really good.
I think that you said that you felt like this was possibly match of the night candidate, right?
Yeah, I really do. These girls told a story in there that I could 100% follow, and just Sasha. You and I were having a conversation last night about everything that you do in between the moves.
Sure.
She did everything in between the moves.
Yep.
And she sold this story. She sold all the damage that Charlotte was dishing out. She sold how much she wanted this. And you could see it on her. And every little thing that she did was just gearing towards this match and this belt. And it was all there. And it sucked me in. I was there.
Well, I'm going to make an official ruling then, and this is why. You said it could be a match of the night candidate. I was reading online that Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville could be match of the year candidate. So if you're saying that's the best match of the night on a show that has the match of the year candidate on it, and we don't remember the other match, I'm saying tonight's with Sasha and Charlotte was the better of the two.
Okay. There you go. Official ruling.
Official ruling.
Okay.
I like how that works.
Okay. So moving on, since we only have a few minutes left, let's talk about that main event.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
And what a main event.
Match of the year.
Certainly could be.
Really good. I think I was expecting Sammy to pull it out, but there were some times where I was just like, he's going to lose.
Yeah.
And he didn't. And there are very few matches that I watch that make me feel the need to text somebody. And this one, when I was done, I was just like, hey, man, awesome job, well-deserved, whatever. Because that was a hell of a performance from both guys. So, hats off to those guys for sure.
Yeah, it was a slower start than I thought it was going to be, but it showed that Zayn was maybe not as polished as Neville, but he was able to hit the right thing at the right time to catch Neville, and that's really what made this match.
Yeah, I think prior to tonight, I thought it could have gone either way, but then before the match, Zayn had said, he's like, I want to be the NXT champion before I go to the main roster. That is my goal. That is what I'm here for. I was like, oh, he's going to win.
And the crowd was behind him in spades. They were just raucous.
Because he's the underdog.
Every other match, it was split. This one was the only one where it was like 100% Sami Zayn. Nothing because even they always do the dueling chants. There was, let's go Sami, Neville sucks. So it was like double. It was good stuff.
It's just, and Zayn looked like a man possessed. Just coming out to the ring, he usually has a very positive energy. Tonight he had a determined energy. He was coming to that ring and he's like, I'm going to raise hell.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the slow start. That was perfect. And the reason that was perfect was because the crowd was already so invested. When they're that invested, you don't have to do anything. Just let it sink in. Give them a look, stare down each other, and just let them take it in. It's so good.
Yeah. Good sportsmanship after the match between Neville and Zayn.
After that moment of tension of bad sportsmanship, multiple times I was just sitting in my chair going, don't fall for the ref thing! Put down the belt! Just, oh man, I'm losing it over this match!
Well, that's the power of the title right there. You want it at any cost, so you're gonna go out and grab it. You're gonna do whatever you need to do. So, friendships in a sense almost come secondary. So I think that's a great story to tell there.
Yeah. But Sami Zayn already with the target on his back. Kevin Owens. What do we think about that?
There's a lot of love in that ring. A lot of love by a whole lot of guys. Owens being the first one out there, giving 100% his love and affection for Sami Zayn, because these two have a really storied relationship. They've fought on many occasions, and they've learned to maybe love each other through all of their turmoils.
I mean, the NXT fan base hasn't seen that necessarily yet.
I think the majority of the NXT fan base has.
They
the
understand
WWE fan base, maybe not so much.
Probably, yeah. The NXT live fan base, they know every indie guy who comes in there. Now, as far as what he was saying, like people who are tuning into the network, that could be a totally different story. So now you're talking about a wider audience who gets to know this, and I've seen Steen do some crazy stuff, Sami Zayn do some crazy stuff tonight alone. So who knows what's coming with that. But the weird thing is I was seeing it happening almost more slow. Like I could see there's a feud brewing here.
Oh, completely.
But I was thinking like it'll be slow, drawn out. I was thinking like old Hogan Macho Man. Like here comes Owens in to steal the spotlight, so to speak, because he was the very first one in the ring. It's his first night there, and here's his friend who's the champion. Well, I'm going to come in and take that. And I'm thinking like, okay, now there's going to be the jealousy thing, this, that, whatever. But it just shot out of the cannon.
Yeah, what started as a spark turned into like a 4-alarm fire in a hurry.
Yeah.
And Regal getting exercised out there, just screaming at Owens, and the EMTs and medical staff looking at him after that powerbomb on the ring apron with authority. Just, I've seen what that can do to a man. That'll turn your spine into a Chinese puzzle.
Yeah. So, are you excited to see more of this?
Absolutely. It's let's say the same old dance on a new stage, and I think it'll live up to expectations.
Well, look, if something works one time, it's going to work again. And if they haven't seen it, it's new to them. So we were talking earlier that this obviously happened on the indies, whatever, all that. Sorry, we're breaking the fourth wall. But if it worked there, it's going to work up top. It's just a matter of, again, let's tweak it, twist it, make it even better.
Yeah.
And if they haven't seen it, it's new to them.
And we've seen Zayn go against guys that he's worked with on the indies before,
Absolutely.
and it's been incredible.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, the guys that come into NXT really are the best. Mm-hmm. And you always say that about WWE in general. The guys that are there are the best that are in existence today, and you really feel that while watching NXT.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to talk about from tonight?
Well, I don't know. I need a nap after that special. It's like, wow.
That was a lot.
What do you?
In the best way possible.
Absolutely.
I was just battling a lot of feelings watching it. Like, I have this weird thing. I hate watching shows that I'm not on. I don't know why. Like, watching wrestling shows that I'm not on. What's that? FOMO.
Fear of missing out.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I've never... YOLO, FOMO?
FOMO? I've not heard that.
No.
FOMO?
Never heard
of it. MoFo, not FOMO.
Yeah.
People back me up.
So, but yeah, I don't know. Like, it just drives me nuts because I get that antsy feeling like, God, I want to be in there. I should be in there. And especially being that close and being backstage and being a part of that family under that umbrella.
Knowing
it's
all
just
of those guys.
Yeah, and I'm like watching guys who are my friends out there doing this stuff, and I'm just like, oh man, I should be there. That should be me doing that right there. So that's like a feeling that just like that gets me amped up. Where now I don't even want to be sitting here right now. Like if we could wrestle right now, I'm ready to go.
There's a ring close.
Yeah.
There's a belt.
Should we set this up?
Maybe.
The GM of AfterBuzz.
Hey, tune into Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. You never know what you might see.
It's coming.
Definitely. Well, we would love to know your thoughts on tonight's NXT special. A little late, Steven. We'd love to know your thoughts. If you weren't watching live, please comment on our YouTube, subscribe to us on iTunes, and in the meantime, you can find us and talk to us on social media. Where can they find you?
They can find me at my website, BuckshareSuperstar.com, for everything having to do with the hobo. ProWrestlingTees.com. Buy a shirt. I got a new design coming out pretty soon here. And, hey, Twitter, at True Hobo.
Shaun, where can they find you?
Well, you can let me talk to you, but you can find me at Shaun Ricker. That's ShaunRicker on Twitter. You can also find me at youtube.com/ImpossibleCastle, and December 19th in Las Vegas at the Silverton Casino with FSW, Future Stars of Wrestling, and every single week nationwide with Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. You're looking at KDOC here in Los Angeles, and check your local listings from MAV TV nationwide, and you can find this delicious face.
And this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other delicious face.
Yeah.
Have to thank you again so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Yes.
Now we're going to fight.
The post show.
Right. I mean, they gotta pay to see it. We're not giving this stuff away for free.
This ain't free.
You can find me on Twitter at Catherine Kelly. You can find me on Instagram at Kathy Kelly. And you can find all of us here on Twitter and Instagram at AfterBuzz TV. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you again for another after show of NXT next Thursday.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.